Alright, this is my infamous Mojo chicken wings. I actually started making it for my kids this morning again, and every time I post something, people usually ask me how I make it, and I'm going to show you my trick on this one. I've already started the first bag. I'm going to go ahead and go the second bag. Rinse out the bag, I let it thaw a little bit, and I toss it in here. The thing I do is, prior to getting to this stage, is I sprinkle some salt across the wings. Go around a little bit. Now I know some people usually do 3 sets of spices and then they kind of mix and match. I like spreading them individually so I know that every wing gets a good amount of everything that it needs. Alright, so I put the salt first to make sure it's in there. Then I start spreading some Badilla Naranja Agria or sour orange, depending how you want to pronounce it. Spread it around a little bit. Pour some more. And this is what gives it that unique flavor to this and the Badilla Mojo Marinade, which is like crazy awesome. Alright, so now that I feel that it has enough orange marinade in there, that they all should feel a little slimy. You know, they make sure they're all nice and coated. You don't want to overdo it because the sour orange can overwhelm the flavor too. So you just want to give it enough where they're nice and wet, and then the rest of the seasoning will stick pretty good to it. Okay, so now I'm going to spread some adobo, which is also with sour orange. Same thing. Move it around a little bit. A little more. Around a little bit. A little more. Alright. Then oregano. Some people love oregano, some people hate it. There's usually no in-betweens. Either you use it or you don't use it. Some oregano on there. Alright, so now we should have a nice little brownish looking seasoning ready to go. Okay, let me rinse up. Alright, here's the most important part, especially when doing a large set of wings. I tend to actually stack the wings vertical like this. This way I don't have to flip the wings and they get cooked really good on both sides, especially if I set them up, I cover them right and I cook them for a long term. One thing you never want to do, especially with any kind of pans. Oh, and prior to starting, I kind of sprayed the pan a little bit with olive oil, so we have non-stick. Try to keep the skins away from any kind of surface. You know, push it against each other. And then these little fat ones, they take up a lot of space, so I tend to shove them down here. So try to get as much wings as you can back to back, so it doesn't stick there. Then when you pull it apart, it's going to fall apart. All right, believe it or not, that is 2 entire bags full of wings right there. 6 pounds in total, in one tiny little tray. Magic. Right now they're seasoned, they're ready to go. I'm actually going to wrap this up and put it in the fridge for about an hour or 2, maybe 3, depending how long I want it to sit. Prior now, see, I didn't use the Mojo marinade in the mix. Actually, right now, I'm going to pour it on each wing, just gently over the top. Okay. Just enough. Make sure every wing, just enough of this. Right over the top. Now, since I'm going to cook this completely closed, it's going to be like in the oven. I'm going to let it sit for about an hour on the first round before I uncover it. The flavor of the mojo is going to get everywhere. I mean, it's going to raise, it's going to thin out a lot here with all the other fluids that are coming out of this thing. Alright, there we go. Very lightly, just enough. Make sure every wing is covered. Don't overdo it. Don't put half a bottle in there. You know, you want to make sure that when you look at it sideways, you know, you're not filled up with liquid, because what's going to happen is once it starts cooking, the liquid's going to be rising. And if you already have too much liquid to begin with, when these wings start releasing the juices and the oils and everything on there, it's going to overfill and spill out. We just want to make sure you have just enough. So right here, we're ready to cook, but I'm not going to cook yet. I'm going to wrap it up, I'm going to cover it, I'm going to put it in the fridge. And I'm actually going to wrap it with aluminum foil, put it away in the refrigerator for about a couple of hours, and then I'm going to pop it in the oven. And then we'll go. Alright, the wings have been sitting in the fridge for about 4 hours. started getting a little hungry, so what we're gonna do now is pop it in the oven and let the magic begin. Alright, first step I'm gonna do is preheat the oven to about 450 just to heat it up. Alright, so after about 10 minutes or so, that oven should be hot enough. I'm going to drop the temperature to about 350, and then I'm going to let this thing sit for about an hour. After an hour. Alright, oven is about 450 right now. So I'm going to go ahead and, look at that heat coming out. Place it right in the middle rack. And what I do is I don't place it right smack in the middle. I take it a little lower, so it doesn't heat too much on the top and it gets hot enough on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead now and set it to bake at 350 and give it 1 whole hour. Let's see if I can make this go faster. There we go. 1 hour. So now our temperature is at 350 and our time is supposedly 1 hour. And there we go. So, alright, it's been cooking for an hour. Covered up. Now we're going to go ahead and open her up, pull a little bit out, and then we're going to rip off the aluminum foil. Now, it's packed it pretty tight, so I'm using some tweezers to take it off. Alright, here we go. Now it's been slowly cooking at 350. Now I'm going to uncover it. I'm going to hit cancel. I'm going to change the bake to 400. Set the timer to 30 minutes. And start. Alright, I'm not too sure if the camera can see this. I'll open it up for a second. But about 14 minutes at 400 degrees. All the liquid from the bottom is starting to boil now. So you see, this is the reason I put most of the wings standing up like this, so at least half of it is continuously sitting in the liquid and all the juices in the bottom. So right now it's starting to bubble up and starting to cook up. When we first started, this is why I said you couldn't put too much of the seasoning and the sauce and the marinade, because when we started there was barely any. It was just at the bottom, and right now we're at halfway. If we would have had it like halfway filled, then this thing would have been all the way at the top and would have pretty much sitting in soup, and you were able to get that nice golden look, that golden brown that we want at the end. So about at 9 minutes remaining on here, I'm starting to see some of the tips starting to get a little burnt, not burnt, but a little golden brown there. And what we want to do at this point is we want more of that juice to evaporate, and we don't want it to burn too fast. So we'll open it up and get one of these little devices here and start spreading some of the juice on top. Alright, now at 2 minutes remaining from our 30-minute part, we can see that it's bubbling like very viciously, which is awesome. And we're getting a lot of browning. So I'm going to go ahead now and try this again one more time. This time I'm going to get a little rag because it got a little hot last time. And let's go ahead and drop some juice in there again. Especially the ones in the back that look like they're really burning up. And this will be the last phase. We're just going to raise the temperature to thicken the juice and finalize this. Nice and wet and ready to go. So this last part now, I'm going to set the oven at 450 for 15 minutes, and then we'll turn it off and let it sit for a little bit, prepare the table, and we got to get some eating going on. So timer's almost done. I'm going to end. I'm going to hit this to 450. Set my timer for about 15 minutes. And we're good to go. That's wet enough, that's good enough, that's soft enough. I'm just going to let it boil up. thicken up, and then serve it up. So next time we check in, it will be right at the 0 hour, and I'll be turning off the oven and preparing the table. Alright, we're at the last couple of minutes of the stage here. We got a lot of nice bubbling action going on, and these wings are looking extremely good, and I'm very hungry. Now, you're going to meet 100 people, and 100 people are going to tell you 100 different ways of how they make wings. And I'm sure there's going to be 100 different comments out for how their way is better. And I'm okay with that. This is my method. I like the half and half method where I kind of cook half the wing in the sauce and the other half exposed. This way you get the best of both worlds. You're going to get the juicy part and you're going to get the crispy golden brown part. And this thing is going to pretty much just melt in your mouth and fall apart and just literally the meat fall off the bone. So now we're at the last, like I said, last minute, actually the last 20 something seconds. So we first cooked it for an hour at 350 to make sure it was nice and cooked inside. Then we did another 30 minutes uncovered at 400 degrees. And then I did my last 15 minutes uncovered at 450. And this is what really finalizes this. Once the timer is up, I'm going to go ahead and turn off the oven. There we go. And I'm just going to let these wings sit out, slowly cool down, and just finish that last goldening, you know, without it burning up, because now the oven is off, but the heat is still in there, and the heat's going to keep it, you know, keep it hot, keep it cooking slowly, and just keep it browning without over burning it. I'm not going to open it up anymore because I want to maintain this heat. So now I'm going to go prepare the table. By the time I get the table together, the plates together, everything together for the kids, this sauce will be nice and thick. These wings will be nice and golden, and the bottom of these wings that are submerged the entire time will be juicy and delicious. Alright, table set. And the reason I like cooking with the glassware is that I'm able to place it in the middle of the table, keep the chicken warm while we're eating, and I use 2 plates upside down with a moist rag so the heat doesn't transfer. Then I got the things to pick up. So let's go ahead and grab this bad boy out of there. I'm going to go ahead and grab 2 rags, wet them real quick. And then we'll pull it out. Just remember, during the marinating, it's not to put way too much. Woo! The heat that came out was hard. Not to put way too much marinade, and not to put too much sour orange, because then what's going to happen? It's going to have too much liquid, and the taste is going to be a little overpowering. I don't know if the camera's going to blur, but I'm going to reach down really quick and grab this. Oh, here we go. Ooh. That boy is hot. Now we place it up here. Look at that. Then it cools off, and we eat as it cools off. There you go. Mojo wings. Beautiful, soft, and tender. I mean, these things are gonna fall off the bone. Look at that, I'm barely touching it, it's just falling apart. So the trick is gonna be able to keep this thing from falling apart as we're eating it.